Hey everybody, it's Lisa here.
Would you
First of
believe
all,
it?
I'd like
But
to
I'm
start
using
off
Google
by
Vid
thanking
for the first
Katie for
time and
inviting
it
me
cut off after
to
10
work on
minutes.
this
So I got to
project with
speed things
her.
up a bit. We were
Obviously,
talking about, even
plagiarism and
though
the use
it's
of
just brainstorming,
AI,
students
overuse of
should
AI by students
definitely
is a huge concern
cite
for
it.
us and
So
something to
let's go
really
into
delve
this.
into.
This is the MLA
So
formatted
I've enjoyed
citation
doing
of
that with her and
a
sharing it
AI
with you
query.
guys. And
And
we're
if we look
hoping that we
specifically
can,
at it,
after we
I'm going
share
to
with you, we
slide
can
this
maybe
down
share it
here.
with some other departments as well.
They have to
I
put in the
apologize for
URL, the
not
date
being
of
there
use,
with
the
you
exact
today. As you
prompt
know,
they
my schedule is a
use.
little bit
We've
different from
got
yours.
the
So let's get
tool,
right
which was
into it.
Claude, and I didn't
So
know
what we're
who
going to be
published
doing,
Claude, so I
how
had to
this is
ask
going to be
Claude
structured
what
is
is the
we're going to
publisher,
first talk
and they
about
told
the
me
importance of
Anthropic, and they
addressing
gave me the version
plagiarism
number,
with
so I thought that
students,
was pretty cool.
obviously, a big
Um,
part of what we do in
Again, when
English. I am going to take over an
ever, if you
overview
do
of how to
allow
prevent it in the
students
first place. So
to
some
use a bit
strategies
of
we can
AI
use
for certain
to steer
sections,
kids
again, we
away
want to
from it.
teach
When
them
I'm
that
done,
should be
Katie's going to go
cited. You
over,
need to
once the
let
work is
your
done,
reader
how
know
to detect
that
if
you've
AI is
used
still being
AI. This is
used.
particularly
And then at the
important,
end,
and we're going
anytime
to
you share
share
some
additional
images
resources that
or
we have
create
for
images
you
with
in
AI,
a
which is
shared
becoming
Google
increasingly
folder.
this
Popular. So
this presentation included. So
let's
the
see. We're at
first
the
slide
very
that
end
we
here
have, oh, the
actually talks
irony.
about the
We're going to
percentage
use an
of
AI tool to
students
make
who
an AI
are
resistant
probably using AI
assignment,
at
which
this point
sounds
on
insane, I
many
know.
of their assignments.
Um,
And this is coming
Again,
up
let
to us
me
from the College Board. And
reboot
I have that
because
link right
and
here.
put in,
And it
this is
says
Magic
that,
School. It is
believe it or
a
not,
free
79
tool.
to
Last year I paid for
84%
it, but I found
of
there's
students
really, I
are
wasn't
using
using
it.
it,
And
being
that's
not a
just
regular
from
classroom
January to
teacher.
May of this year. I
Wasn't
actually
using it as
believe
much as
that I wouldn't be surprised if it's even higher
could,
than that.
and this is
That's what
available
we're
in the
facing.
completely
So
free
let's get
version.
right
I'm
into
logged in
talking
with my Google
about
account.
best
Here
practice
it
for
is.
when
You
we
pick your grade
design
level, you put in
assignments
your
and how
assignment
to
prompt,
create
and
more
it's going to help
durable,
us make it more
durable assignments,
durable.
meaning
So over
assignments that
here,
don't
this is
openly
another
or
funny thing I
easily
did while
be
preparing.
adapted or
I asked
used,
AI to give me
have
some
AI
vulnerable
use easy
prompts,
for
meaning
them.
things that kids could
So
easily
very first
use
thing,
at the beginning of the semester or
Chat
year.
GPT or
It's a
what
good
have you to
practice to
finish
try
it.
to
So let's pick
obtain
this one. Compare and
an
contrast
original
Romeo and
piece of
Juliet's
writing in their
personalities, what makes them
handwriting
different from each
during
other.
class, so that they're
That's
not
pretty
going
weak
home
anyway,
and
but let's
writing
copy it
something and turning it in the next day, in which case they may use
and
AI.
paste it
So
and see
hopefully during a
what
class you can
the
get a
bot's
writing
going to tell
sample from
us would
them.
be better.
And that baseline is
Okay.
what you could use
Generate.
eventually to compare for tone, for style.
Again, it always gives
for
you three different
vocabulary, all those
ideas.
things.
The
When you're
first
looking
one
at a piece that they've
is
submitted in class, maybe in
analyze
a
a
Google
specific
Doc
scene
instead.
where characters
So
demonstrate different
that's number
personality
one.
traits. Write
This
a
next one,
journal
I feel
entry
like I'm
from the
preaching
point of
to
view
the
of the
choir because
characters.
English teachers do
The
this
second one is to create a
regularly.
visual
You scaffold your
representation
assignments. There's never a time where
using
you
some
just say,
kind
hey,
of,
you've got a 3-page paper due on
mind
such
map
and
or
such.
infographic.
Make sure it's submitted
And the
by,
last one is to
the
conduct an
30th.
interview
That's
where a
not what
person
you
plays
guys
the
do.
role of Romeo and the
So
other
this
person is
example that I
Juliet.
want to share
So
with
these are,
you,
I
these
think
are
these
all
are great lesson
hyperlinks, but
ideas. I don't
because my
think they're
browser is a little
necessarily a
finicky
great one
tonight, I
for
have them
a
tabbed up here as
culminating
well.
summative project
This is a
where
scaffolded
you
English
need to show
paper because your
happens
standards
to
say that they need to be
be,
able to
how
write a
does the author
paper, use
write?
literary elements,
So
right?
again,
So
this
they
is just
start off
something to help you
by
think outside of the
asking some
box at certain
questions,
times,
gathering some
a little
quotes,
differently,
building a
and
thesis. So these are all different
to just give
steps
you
and mini lessons
another
along the
way to do
way.
it in order to
And
see what other
as I
things can be
said,
done.
that's something you do
Again,
all the
we
time.
need them to be
What's
able to
key
write
here, obviously,
sustained,
is feedback for students at each
lengthy works.
stage.
And
It's
these
crucial to,
particular ones
check in with them.
don't show
Are they
that.
on
But
track?
I
Is what
hope,
they've done
and this ends my
already
portion,
looking a
I hope
little shady
that there's
in
something
terms of
there
what they've
that
produced for
you
you
can,
in that
experiment
original
with.
prompt?
If one
So
of the
a strategies
strategies,
that you find
a
you'd like to
scaffolded
try out and
assignment
work,
is a great way
try out.
to
I'm
really
hoping that
look at
there's
things
something
as they
worthwhile in
are
what I
being
shared.
produced
I
or worked
always
on.
love to
The
work with
next
you guys.
strategy
Please
is
don't
an
hesitate
interesting
to
one.
reach
It
out
talks
to
about either me or Katie,
requiring some kind of
and
personal connection in the
especially
assignment,
me on other
whether it be to
projects,
their own
please,
personal
because
lives
I have the time
or
to
to
work
their
with you, and I
community.
really enjoy
And this
doing it. So
example,
I think
I
that's
like
where
it
I'll
because
stop. And
it
this time I didn't hit
and
my
this
10
one,
minutes.
I'll be very transparent here. This was done by an AI bot. It might have been ChatGPT, but it's called From Salem to Our Town. it's an essay on the Crucible or an assignment, and it says they need to research a local example where the theme appears in their own community. So again, or a community they know of, right? So an AI bot won't necessarily know Putnam or their small town the way they do. So the ability for them to use an AI for that assignment is going to be that much harder than a typical one. Including an element of metacognition is also important. We know that metacognition is thinking about thinking, right? So asking them to think about their writing process. I really like this particular example. It actually comes from a college professor. He asks them, along with their essay, to answer these following questions. And I don't want to read them all to you. You can look at this later, but how well did you predict your writing process? Meaning, did you plan well? Did you know it was going to take you this amount of time? What feedback did you get during the assignment? So it's asking them to reflect on their relationship with their teacher or maybe a peer that might have worked with them. How useful was it for them? Moving forward, will they use some of this? So asking them to answer those questions is beyond the use of an AI bot because it speaks to their personal experiences. Again, this is something that English teachers probably are already doing, requiring some kind of oral part of the assignment after that paper is handed in or along with the paper, maybe presenting to the class, having a debate, the idea of a Socratic seminar. To be honest, I came from a middle school background in elementary. We didn't work with Socratic seminars, but this particular example is pretty cool. It is an article from a blog on the Socratic seminar and how it can be used in high school. It's got some great there's 50 questions here organized quite nicely into follow-ups, inferences, small group questions, and it just requires students to do deeper thinking and more critical thinking of their topics. This is one that varying assignment products I find I think is probably a little more difficult for an English teacher because you need them to show that they can write a multi-paragraph product, right? So it's part of your standards. However, I love this example here. It again was found on this blog. It's called The Secondary English Coffee Shop. And she's got 5 different AI resistant lessons or top assignments. And this is the one that I thought was really unique, and it's the research magazine. So even though the product isn't a paper, it is maybe they use Canva to do this, maybe they use probably Canva would be the best thing, but they still have to write a thesis, write an argument, do their research, find credible sources, embed and cite quotes. They have to do all these things that they normally would do in a regular paper, but instead the format is their final magazine, which is a digital product. So again, and you could have a white works cited page on that magazine article as well. So I really like that particular example, and that blog seems to be one that's quite useful. Here we go. We all are doing this. I know you're using Noodle Tools, but I wanted to share with you that there's a new template for AI usage. So when we click into Noodle Tools, oops, I had recorded this before and it didn't work, but here's another recording. This English lesson has one of the citations already in it is a student who was given permission to brainstorm using AI some ideas. So even though it's just brainstorming,